or see people over here don't know how to act, and that's the problem. Because when Malcolm X was speaking, you notice it was 12 million people in the United States of America, and he was like, 2 million of them, they trying to be part of America first, and then switching over to us as an afterthought. And then it was 10 million Americans that look like us that was sitting there going, hey, what about us? And again, I'm not speaking about the people who don't even realize that you've been genetically modified to be who you are. Man, rap, that's heavy. Genetically modified. Okay. I don't know. If you're new to the show, you've never heard me speak about the science of epigenetics. The science of epigenetics is this. You pass down traits to your children, whether it be trauma, whether it be pride, whether it be work ethic or things of that nature, generation to generation to generation to generation to generation. And at the end of the day, as a human being, all you really want is peace. You want a nice place to lay your head. You want to be able to get up, you want to get up and do some work, earn your honest wage, nice clean clothes, good meal, someplace to relax occasionally, and then come home and you do it again, right? That's what the average person wants. Now, whether we all like $100 million, that goes without saying. That goes without saying. Oh man, I want to be rich. Everybody want to be rich. That's not a news flash. Everyone wants to be rich. Everyone wants to live a lavish life. But if you can give the average person in the United States of America nice place to live, nice vehicle to get around with, good living wage, their own business or a good job, they will be okay. And those people are being ignored at an alarming rate when you look like us. It's just a simple fact. Because the reason they were ignored, I lost track. I went to another thing. Talking about epigenetics. Epigenetics is you're passing that down from generation to generation. Something else you will pass down is trauma. 1771. 1771. There was a law passed called marital manumission. This is in the height of slavery is crooked. The country ain't even the country. You just doing what you want to do. And we were at the bottom of the totem pole. And guess what they did? They passed a law saying, you know what, you darker people, what we gonna do is this. You are indentured slave and indentured servants, whether you be a farmer, a house worker, or what have you. What we're going to do is allow you to obtain your freedom papers if you tell about a slave revolt, if you make life easier for a white man, if you save a white man's life. So if you make it better for me, because I got these 300 people on this death camp, and if they say, hey, we killing everybody that don't look like us, I'm gonna have a problem. But if you snitch about that, we can grab hold to this, and then we can make your life easier. You can get your freedom papers. If you make it easier for me, Cotton Gin, Eli Whitney, anything that you go to the patent office and just about anything that you want. If you look deep enough, you'll find that there was a brother it was illegal for him to patent that invention, so they took it and made it their own. Or, the most important one is, if it's a slave revolt or a runaway situation, you're going to tell on your brother. Hey man, I don't care. You can sit here and have the greatest nation, Islam, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, suit on that you want. But when you are under that tyranny, and if it's any way humanly possible for you to get any monarch of freedom after 10, 12, 20, 30, 50 years of getting beaten, mistreated, you would do what's best for you. People do what's best for them versus what's best for the collective. That's why when you say, hey man, he over there in that white neighborhood, he'll sell out. No, he thinks that's going to make it better for him. I'm not going to call him a sellout until he does something to sell out. Because, again, we banty about those terms way too easy. You don't make people earn those terms. And a lot of people never earn those terms. So, I'm not talking about the guy that'll sell you out for nothing. I'm not talking about the dude who live in the projects, who hurting people because he a hurt guy. Not that guy. I'm talking about the guy who's trying to work his way up through corporate America and don't understand that, hey man, you got $200,000 or $300,000. You can open up a business while you work your way up through corporate America. You can help out your community. And while you're helping out your community, you're changing your community. As you change your community, you're making it better for you. You're making it better for yours. And you're making it better for your cousins. Because guess what? Most of us who get these real good jobs and do this great stuff, our cousins, our nieces, nephews, aunts, and uncles are usually still struggling. But how you pull yourself out of that is one opportunity at a time. So those are not the people that I'm talking about, man. It's sellout dude, man. Not those dudes. As he stated, we're talking about the bourgeoisie. I don't want to deal, we're not going to deal with them. What we are going to deal with today is the stress and the trauma of that bleeding down into our generation, to generation, into generation, to generation, into generation, into generation, until you get to 2020. And then when you acknowledge that pain, what you also acknowledge is this. You acknowledge what you had to go through to get that pain. That's the thing. That is the key, man. See, in order to heal from a traumatic situation, you must look that traumatic situation in the eye and say, you're not going to defeat me anymore. And we got to get away from destroying each other without trying to help each other. See, it's easy to go, hey, man, I'll never do this. But you've never been faced with that type of trauma, so you don't know what you'll do. How is this important in 2020? It's important in 2020 because we're being asked to get rid of the scourge of humanity, Donald Trump. He's the worst. He's not doing anything for us. And then guess what? Then you got the people on the side. People who haven't opened a newspaper, haven't looked at a CNN, NBC, ABC, MSNBC, or any of those networks and looked at one paragraph of conversation or listen to one sentence or paragraph of conversation, and then they hear something that sounds good to them and they go, the Democrats ain't done nothing for us, man. And you kind of just shake your head because you realize, you say to yourself, you're really just showing your ignorance. But you don't think you're showing your ignorance. You think you're saying something profound because it was a dude on TV who seemed profound and it made sense. So you regurgitate it. Yeah, man, we got to hold our vote for tangibles. First of all, that's not what you say 4, 6, 8 months before an election. That's what you say Wednesday morning. Because no matter who the president is as of Wednesday morning, that's the person for the next 4 years that needs to answer to you. Because either you voted him in play or he's in play and now he needs to do for you. Voting for the 10 billionth time out of my mouth it's the last step in a process that you need to continue to follow through on. Because guess what? It's easy as hell to say, they've been bullshitting us for the last blah, blah years. It's too easy to say that. But, you know, good brother by the name of Corey Holcomb, I watched the show. I didn't watch the entire show, so I'll never get out on nobody who has good intentions anyway. But good brother by the name of Corey Holcomb, he was like, the last thing a black person need is an agenda from black people. And if you're going to look at things from a surface point of view, Corey Holcomb is 100% correct. How you got to tell a brother what the rest of the brothers need? He should already know. But this is a business transaction. I'm going to say that again. The United States of America is a corporation, and in order to get responses from a corporation, you must write things down. That becomes a contract. Once they acknowledge that contract, now you can hold their feet to the fire. And once you know how the thing works, if you don't manipulate it to work in your favor, it ain't nobody's fault but yours. Seriously. You are to blame. It's easy to say, yo, what are you doing? But if everybody starts off at the mirror and says, yo, what are you doing? Things get better. I promise you, things will get better. Now, 55 years after the Voting Act was passed, and the Civil Rights Act was passed, and the Nationalization Act was passed, these things 65 and 66. Know your history. People going, man, so what's the agenda? There has always been an agenda on the table. Whether you realize it or not, there's always been an agenda on the table. A lot of us ignore the agenda. A lot of us are unaware of the agenda. A lot of us are unaware of what's been going on in our community for the last 200 years. And you thinking, man, come on, man, we were slaves back then. But see, that's why I need you to delve into your history. Delve into your history, and you will know that, yes, for 200 years, brothers and sisters have been arguing, fighting, and fussing, and cussing, and meeting about things that are going on right now. See, when you know who you are, then you'll know where to look, what to look for, and how to get where you need to be. See, what we do is we go, hey man, how's that going to benefit me? Because the whole world, as far as we're concerned, the world has told you your history starts with bondage. They had you in bondage, you broke out, and then what you don't know, if you are using the United States of America's concentration camps called schools, is there have been conferences of colored people. There have been conferences of African people. There have been conferences of Negro people. There have been conferences of whatever you've been called since the beginning, since your inception here. Indigenous people. They even got a new term from a man, Tariq Nasheed, and others. Foundational people. And again, we keep tearing at each other at the seams until we are going to rip. And that's just the bottom damn line. Keep calling yourself something different. Keep separating yourself. And people will continue to tear you up. And that's just the facts. Those are just the facts. I'm sorry. If you don't agree, if you disagree, If you want to be a part of